Welcome to our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich. I'm pretty excited about this one. This book has been insanely popular for decades, and for good reason. It's full of advice on how to achieve success, and it's all based on 25 years of research that Napoleon Hill did, interviewing like over 500 crazy successful people.
It's a classic.
Yeah, for sure. But what's really interesting to me is that the whole book comes from this secret
Right.
that Andrew Carnegie, a steel tycoon, shared with Hill. Our listeners super eager to understand this secret and how they can use the book's principles to improve their own life, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things people love about Think and Grow Rich is how practical it is. But reading about success and actually achieving it are two very different things.
Yeah, no doubt.
So let's break these principles down and see how our listener can actually use them.
Love that. And speaking of being practical, Hill really pushes the idea that anyone can use this money-making secret. It doesn't matter where you come from or what you do. He even uses Thomas Edison as an example.
Yeah.
Edison barely went to school, but he became one of the most famous inventors ever. It's like we all have this potential just waiting to be unlocked. So are you ready to tell us the secret?
Let's do it. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how much more we want something when it's called a secret?
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's
Uh,
like we can't resist anything mysterious.
Right. And Carnegie was so smart. He knew that just giving Hill a formula wouldn't be as powerful as making it a secret. This idea of a secret makes people curious and makes them want to take action. And that in itself is like crazy powerful. Just think,
Yeah.
how much more likely are you to do something if you feel like you have exclusive insider information?
Oh, you're so right. It's
Yeah.
like you're in on something special that gives you a real advantage. Okay, so let's get down to business. What is this money-making secret that Carnegie told Hill about?
Okay, so the secret is to get rich or to achieve any goal, really, you have to set a clear goal and then back it up with total belief and action. You need to understand that your thoughts are powerful. And when you combine a strong intention with consistent effort, you can achieve pretty much anything.
Got it. So it's not about some magic formula or some get-rich-quick scheme. It's all about really using the power of your mind and working steadily toward your goals. I can see how that would have been a powerful message back when Hill wrote the book, but does it still apply today?
Definitely. In fact, it's even more important now. In a world that's so full of distractions, having a clear purpose and a strong belief is key. It's all about tuning out the noise and focusing your energy on what really matters. Take Edwin Barnes, for example. He was determined to work with Thomas Edison, not just for him. He showed up at Edison's lab with practically nothing except for a huge desire and a belief in himself.
That's right. And even though he didn't have any connections or special skills, Barnes eventually ended up working as Edison's partner. His story is super inspiring. But how can our listener actually apply that kind of relentless attitude to their own life? It's not like everyone can just show up at the door of their idol and expect to get a partnership.
Yeah, true. It's not about copying what Barnes did exactly. It's about understanding the principle behind his actions. Barnes showed us that we need to figure out what we really want, believe that we can achieve it, and then take bold steps to make it happen, even if it seems impossible. What if instead of thinking about your limitations, you started looking for opportunities in your field? Opportunities where you can use your skills and your passion to create a win-win partnership like Barnes did.
That's a great point. It's about changing your thinking from I can't to how can I? So we know that desire and belief are essential. But even with those things in place, there are going to be challenges along the way.
Right. Oh, for sure. There will always be challenges. Speaking of obstacles, Hill tells a story about R.U. Darby's uncle who gave up on a gold mine just 3 feet away from striking it rich. It's so sad, but it perfectly shows what can happen when you quit too soon.
Oh, wow. That story definitely makes you think twice about giving up when things get tough.
I bet we've all had times where we felt like giving up on a project or a goal. I know I have.
Yeah, me too. It's a totally normal thing to feel. But Darby's uncle's story, as tragic as it is a good reminder. Persistence is often what separates the people who succeed from those who don't. Darby himself learned this later in his career as a life insurance salesman. He got rejected constantly, but he never gave up, and he eventually became hugely successful.
It sounds like persistence is just as important as desire and belief. But how can our listener develop that kind of unwavering determination, especially when they're facing setbacks and doubts?
That's where Hill's next principle comes in. This is where things get really interesting. He talks about this concept called auto-suggestion. It's a technique for influencing your subconscious mind to turn your desires into reality. Okay, this is intriguing. Tell me more.
So Hill believed that thoughts combined with emotions become like this magnetic force, and they attract similar thoughts and influence your actions. Basically, you can train your subconscious to work towards your goals. He'll even use this to help his son, who was born without ears. He actually developed both speech and hearing.
That's an amazing story about the power of belief and intention. But for our listener, how can they actually use autosuggestion in their everyday life? It sounds a little bit like just thinking positive thoughts. Is there something more to it?
You're right, it is more than just thinking positive thoughts. Autosuggestion is about making a choice to focus on the thoughts and beliefs that help you. And then you repeat them over and over until they become a part of your subconscious. It's like you're planting a seed in your mind and then taking care of it so it can grow.
Yeah.
You wouldn't plant a seed and then immediately dig it up to check if it's growing right.
Yeah.
You have to trust the process, nurture it, and believe that it will grow into something great. It's the same with autosuggestion. You plant the seed of your desire, you take care of it with positive affirmations and visualizations, and then you trust your subconscious to work its magic.
So it's about combining a clear intention with consistent action and never giving up.
Mm.
But action needs more than just willpower, right? We need to know what steps to take and how to organize our efforts. What does Hill say about that?
That's where specialized knowledge comes in. Hill says knowledge itself isn't the key to wealth. It's about how you organize and use that knowledge. Think about it this way. You could have all the ingredients to make an amazing meal, but if you don't know how to use them properly, you're not going to get a delicious dish.
Makes sense. So it's not enough to just gain knowledge. You have to learn how to strategically use it to achieve your goals.
Exactly. Hill gives this example of a grocery store salesman during the Great Depression. This guy took his bookkeeping skills and turned them into a mobile accounting service. He helped businesses that couldn't afford regular accountants. He saw an opportunity where other people only saw problems.
Wow, that's so smart.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that success often comes from making connections, from looking at what you already know and finding creative ways to apply it. So specialized knowledge is important, but it sounds like you also need a plan, a way to organize your efforts and make them work towards your goals. What are Hill's thoughts on that?
He's a big believer in organized effort. He says even a bad plan is better than no plan. It's about taking action, even if it's not perfect, and then getting better as you go. Think about building a house. You wouldn't try to plan out every little detail before you even start laying the foundation right.
Right.
It's the same with your goals. You have to start somewhere and be willing to adjust along the way.
So it's about being open to trying new things, learning from your mistakes, and changing your course as you learn more.
Exactly. Hill believed that planning and taking action are the essential ingredients to turning your desires into results. But he also knew that you rarely achieve success alone. And that's where the mastermind principle comes in. Remember, we talked about this a little earlier.
Yeah, the mastermind is basically a group of people who are on the same page, and they help and challenge each other to be successful. But can you explain how someone can actually build their own mastermind group?
It starts with finding people who share your values and goals, people who inspire and motivate you. They could be colleagues, mentors, friends, even family. The key is to build a supportive network where you can bounce ideas off each other, share what you know, and keep each other accountable. Think about some of the great collaborations in history. Andrew Carnegie had his inner circle of advisors. Henry Ford worked closely with brilliant minds like Thomas Edison and Harvey Firestone. Those partnerships were huge in their success.
It's amazing how much more you can achieve when you surround yourself with the right people. It's like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But what about those inner obstacles that can hold us back, even when we have the perfect plan? We talk about how important persistence is. But how do we overcome those deep fears that can sabotage us?
Hill tackles this directly by talking about the 6 basic fears: poverty, criticism, bad health, loss of love, getting old, and dying. He says these fears can paralyze us and stop us from taking the risks we need to take to achieve our goals.
He calls this susceptibility to negative influences. And he says it's actually more dangerous than those 6 basic fears.
That's because negativity can sneak into our subconscious without us even realizing it. It can make us less confident and hold us back from reaching our full potential. Think of it like a virus. It can spread quickly and weaken your whole system if you're not careful.
Okay, so how can our listener protect themselves from these negative influences?
Mm.
We can't just avoid every negative person or situation, can we?
That's true. You can't avoid negativity completely. It's about becoming resilient and strengthening your mental immune system. Hill suggests being around positive and supportive people, being mindful of what you read and watch, and using positive affirmations to fight back against negative thoughts. It's about making a conscious effort to focus on the good, to be optimistic, and to believe in yourself.
So it's about developing a mindset that supports your goals instead of getting in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But on top of the negativity from the outside, we also have to deal with our own inner critic, right?
Oh, for sure.
Hill encourages us to face those negative beliefs head on. He says we should really look at ourselves, honestly, figure out our strengths and weaknesses, and then actively work on improving ourselves. He even gives us a list of 31 questions in the book to help us dig deep into our character, our habits, and our beliefs.
It's like looking in the mirror and really seeing yourself without judgment. Just honest observation.
Exactly. And once you have that clear understanding, you can start making choices about how you want to grow and change. Remember, Hill really believed that knowledge without action is useless. It's about taking what you learn and putting it into practice, even if it's just a small step.
So it's about recognizing your own patterns, finding areas where you can improve, and then taking consistent action to achieve your goals.
Precisely. And Hill emphasizes that self-improvement is an ongoing process. It's not about reaching some kind of perfect state, but about embracing the journey of continuous growth and development. Think about Henry Ford. He faced so much doubt and criticism when he started building cars. People thought he was crazy.
But Ford had a vision, and he believed in himself, and he never gave up.
Exactly. And that strong belief, together with persistent action, led to the creation of one of the most iconic companies ever. Ford's story shows us that success often means going against the flow, trusting your gut even when people doubt you, and having the courage to be different.
It's about breaking free from what everyone else is doing and having the guts to follow your own path.
Now, speaking of challenging the norm, Hill also talks about the concept of sex transmutation, which I know can be a bit of a controversial topic.
Yeah, that might need some explanation for our listener.
Yeah.
What exactly did Hill mean by sex transmutation?
Yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be approached carefully and with understanding. When Hill talked about sex transmutation, he wasn't saying that people should suppress or deny their sexual energy. It was more about channeling that energy into creative things, into your ambitions and drive. He believed that this transmutation could really fuel some incredible achievements in any area of life.
So it's not about controlling or repressing it. It's about taking that energy and using it in a positive way to do something productive and fulfilling.
Exactly. Think of it this way. You have this really powerful source of energy inside you. Instead of letting it just fade away or manifest in ways that aren't helpful, you can actively choose to channel it into your passions, your goals, your creative work. Hill thought this was one of the secrets to the amazing energy and drive that people like Thomas Edison had.
It's like taking this primal force and using it to power your dreams and ambitions. Really interesting concept.
Yeah.
But switching gears for a second, we've covered a lot in this deep dive, from setting clear goals to using the power of the subconscious mind. As we wrap things up, I'm curious what you think is the most important takeaway from Think and Grow Rich.
If I had to pick one main principle, I'd say it's Hill's idea of the cosmic habit force. He used this term to describe a universal force that works through our habits and shapes our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
So it's like a law of nature, a principle that's always working in our lives whether we realize it or not.
Exactly. Hill said that our habits are the foundation of our lives. They make up our character, they determine our destiny, and ultimately how successful we are. He even thought that our habits have this cosmic power, that they can influence the events and circumstances that happen to us.
It's a really powerful idea.
Hmm.
It means we're not just along for the ride in our own lives. We can actually shape our reality through the habits we develop.
Exactly. And Hill believed that once we understand this principle, we can really take control of our lives. He said that if we make a conscious effort to choose and develop good habits, we can align ourselves with this cosmic habit force and tap into its power.
That makes a lot of sense. But we all know how hard it is to break old habits and form new ones.
Hmm.
What did Hill suggest for actually changing our habits?
Hill's idea was that if you keep affirming your desired habits, if you visualize yourself practicing them, and then you consistently take action, you can actually reprogram your subconscious mind and make those habits a part of your automatic behavior.
So it takes intention, visualization, and consistent action.
Yes, exactly. And remember, Hill talked a lot about the power of the subconscious mind. By consistently giving it positive input, you can slowly change your default patterns and make good habits a natural part of who you are.
It's like you're upgrading your operating system, installing new programs that help you create the life you want.
Exactly. And Hill was really adamant that this principle of transforming your habits was the key to achieving lasting success in every area of life. Whether your goal is to build a successful business, develop strong relationships, or just feel more at peace and fulfilled. It all starts with aligning your habits with your aspirations.
So Think and Grow Rich isn't just a guide to making money. It's really a philosophy for creating a life that's both meaningful and successful.
You got it. While Hill definitely talked about the importance of wealth, he ultimately believed that real wealth comes from personal growth, from making a positive impact on the world, and from living a life that reflects your values.
It's about making sure your achievements match up with your inner compass, creating a life that feels both successful and truly fulfilling.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. You have the power within you to create the life you want. You can choose your thoughts, develop strong habits, and connect with a universal force that can help you every step of the way. Think and Grow Rich gives you a timeless roadmap to do just that. And while the journey might take work and dedication, the rewards are definitely worth it.
This has been an amazing exploration. Think and Grow Rich is so much more than just a self-help book. It's a way of life, a way to live a life that's both empowered and fulfilling. To our listener, I encourage you to dig deeper into these principles and discover the incredible potential you had inside you. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time for another exciting adventure.